I've got transport coming to pick us up. All we gotta do is sit tight.
Don't sound too hard. I figure we earned ourselves a little R&R.
Commander, I'm detecting a massive concentration of Zerg biosignatures landing at the abandoned dig site.
I should have known it. Damn you,
I
Tychus.
swear, man, I didn't know nothing about no Zerg.
Given their current course, the Zerg will overrun this location within the hour.
Hell, we gotta hold out long enough for extraction. If we man the bunkers and hold those two bridges as long as we can, we just might stand a chance. We're gonna have a real fight on our hands here.
I've been in plenty of holdouts before.
Not against the Zerg, you ain't.
Hello everyone and welcome to the third mission of my Starcraft 2 Brutal Walkthrough Guide. We're going to hop right on into this mission by getting a few SCVs out of our command center, a couple of those Marines out of the barracks, as well as a +1 attack upgrade out of the engineering bay. We're also going to salvage 3 of the 4 bunkers while putting 4 of our Marines inside of the bunker. That way we can have a little bit more of defense during that first Zerg attack wave. Now, the achievements for this mission are fairly straightforward. We have the don't salvage any of your buildings or lose any of your buildings. We didn't do that, of course, in this because we salvaged our bunkers. And the other achievement is to destroy 4 Zerg hatcheries. That is a simple one that we are actually going to do. However, in this video with the strategy that I employ, you don't have to. You could sit in your base until you feel comfortable. This is just how I've done it. But feel free to do whatever's comfortable with you. But this strategy will work regardless if you go out and go fight the Zerg or not. Now, the first Zerg attack comes in at about 1:30, and you're going to want to make sure that your bunker is filled with those Marines. However, if you really feel like you don't really want to deal with the Zerg right now and kind of end the attack wave a little earlier, you could just send in all your Marines and then kind of just wipe them all out. After you finish that attack wave, we're going to go up to the top right. There's going to be a group of the rebels that we're going to rescue. They pop up at about the 2-minute 15-second marker. As you just saw, there are 2 groups of Zerg that are burrowed underground. They both pop up right as soon as you get close to the ramp. One on the other side of the bridge, one right before you hit the ramp to the rebels. Now, there are 3 groups of rebels that we're going to be rescuing. Make sure that you rescue all of them and also get the resource pallets that they have nearby. In this mission, the strategy that I like to do is I like to kind of create little submissions inside in between attacks. That way I'm always doing something. Now, the reason why I do that is this mission, if you just kind of sit in your base the entire time, you can do that, and that's completely an understandable and safe option. It just kind of gets a little boring because all you're doing is you're sitting there kind of playing firefight, waiting for the Hyperion to show up, and you kind of want to sit there and do stuff, you know. This mission can, once you get this strategy down, it can be fairly simplistic. Now, we're also going to make sure that we get 4 barracks. That's what we're going to be getting our Marines and our medics out of. We're going to be 4-raxing this mission, and you should be able to afford even 5 if you wanted to, but for this one, I just stick with 4. The Mutalistic attack at about 4 minutes, of course. And again, I'm not really worried about the buildings in this mission simply because, as I said, it just adds that extra. It just adds more difficulty, especially if you're trying to go for the hatcheries. So on this mission, if you're going to go for the hatcheries, like, just focus on getting the hatcheries. If you're focusing on defending your base and not losing any of your structures, then focus on that, because doing both, it's going to be a nightmare. I will have a video that actually will do both, though, in the near future. But for now, we're just focusing on beating this mission successfully. So the first 5 minutes, fairly quiet, not a lot going on. We've had 3 attacks so far, but a 4th one is coming in right now. The fourth attack comes in roughly at about 5:30 if you're keeping a track on the game timer that I have at the bottom left. Making sure that we keep our supply at a decent level. At the 6-minute mark, you will get the second group of the Marsara rebels that you're going to be going to rescue. You are going to want to be careful. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the difficulty I've had on this mission is simply because I have not timed everything very well. Like, you want to make sure that you get back to your base and defend your base as a priority. You don't want to be out walking around. Like, for example, right here, I was just lucky to get an attack coming from the left side. So keep an eye on that as well. Like, I've been pointing out the times that the Zerg attack because they are scripted to attack at that time. For an example, that attack came in at about 6:30. That's when you would see the Zerg coming out of the area that we haven't discovered yet. Now, keeping an eye on our base, nothing really going on. Just making sure, as I said, keep your supply depots going. Have a dedicated SCV to just building supply depots all mission long. Because at a certain point, you're going to be getting a ton of Marines and medics because your economy is going to be doing so well. 7 minutes, 30 seconds, still waiting on our next attack, which I believe comes in at about the 8:30 marker, maybe 8:15. You really want to remember, and not necessarily memorize, but you definitely want to know when the Zerg are attacking. That way, you're keeping an eye out when you want to go out and go destroy those hatcheries, as I said. Now, there was that attack at about the 8-minute marker. I was a little bit later than when I predicted that time, but 8 minutes is when that attack comes in. There's something that you should also be doing in this mission that I don't think is mentioned very well, is you want to make sure that the Zerg don't necessarily overrun the entire area, you know? You do not want to deal with the Zerg dropping their pods all over the place. Now, I split the two Marines up into two groups because there's actually going to be a Mutalisk attack in a few moments that are going to come in from both the left and the right side. If you keep an eye on your mini-map, you'll actually see the Mutalisks come out of the base, out of both sides of the map, and head towards your base if you keep an eye out, if you focus on it enough. They usually come in roughly, like there's those Mutalisks I was talking about. They usually come in at about the 9:45 marker. Now, you have plenty of Marines to be able to handle this. You also have a ton of medics, so you'll be fine. This attack is literally nothing to you. Keep cranking out those Marines and medics. We have quite a few, actually. We're sitting right around, I think, 70, it says, near 80. That's pretty good. Really, really good start currently. 10 minutes in. As I said, this mission is fairly straightforward. It can be difficult simply because, in my experience, I've had accidental, like, after an attack, you think, oh, this is the last attack. In fact, it's not. You still have another attack. Like, this is a back-to-back attack, but focus on those banelings, by the way. But it's a back-to-back attack. There's one that comes in at 10:30, then another attack at 10:45, and then there's another attack at 11 minutes. So you want to make sure that you keep an eye out. And then you also get, at about the 11-minute marker, the third group of Marsara rebels that you're going to go rescue. Now, the way that I like to do it at this part, and it's only because your army is so huge now, it's so bulky that you're able to actually leave your base alone. You're able to actually you're able to have a defending force like the one right here, and then you're going to have your attack force. Remember to use the ramps as an advantage. You don't want to sit there and deal with getting overwhelmed because you're not using. You don't want them to have sight on you. Use the high ground to your advantage is essentially what I was trying to say. All right, so this is where we like to do our first little invasion of the Zerg. I like to come up here, attack command in. Unfortunately, you get two banelings. Oh no. But that's not really the focus. The focus here is that Ultralisk. Now, target down that Ultralisk, of course. Anytime you see anything big like an Ultralisk, anytime you see a Baneling, you are going to want to focus them down. You do not want to have a Baneling splash into your Marines. That's just not going to be good for anyone. All right, so this is back to what I was talking about earlier. You don't want to get this. You don't want to let the Zerg own the map. You don't want to let their creep spread all over the map. You want to make sure that they kind of have a difficulty getting to your base. You don't want to sit there and turtle in your base. You kind of want to go out there, destroy those creep tumors, and then come back to your base. Make sure, especially your base area. Don't like. Maybe that little outer area, it doesn't really matter, but you definitely don't want to lose your base. Considering I was kind of like stacking up on minerals, I kind of decided to go a little overboard with those missile turrets, but they're going to be helpful later on when we just simply have a ton of Mutalisk attacking our base. But yeah, here we go, kind of just, if you wanted to, like, you could expand. Like, there's opportunity to expand if you really, really wanted to. But yeah, there's two, I think that was two of those hatcheries at the bottom left that we immediately took down. We did that simply because, again, that base is a fairly easy base to take out. Yeah, there was an Ultralisk, but it's not really that bad. Four Banelings. Make sure you shift A. That's going to allow you to shift attack command, which is going to queue up attacks on specific enemies if you wanted to do it that way. That's how I usually like to take down Banelings if they come at me, especially multiple ones. You just got to be a little quick on the draw. Making sure that we just keep queuing up Marines. As I said, that initial group of Marines that we went to go send out with those rebels, to go rescue those rebels, is doing perfectly fine. It's already taken out that other Zerg base at the top left of the map now. So, like, it's fairly straightforward. As I said, it's not overwhelming. I mean, it would be, I would say, if you tried to defend, like, you wouldn't want to lose any structures or salvage any of them. That would make it a little bit more of a challenge. But I mean, it's already not. I mean, I would say focus on one or the other. Just make your life a little easier. Once you actually take out this base, you should have destroyed 4 hatcheries. I believe you could potentially have destroyed 5, but I believe it's 4. So we're going to finish up this attack. So after you destroy the 4 hatcheries, you're just going to head back to your base and kind of chill. Like the last quarter of this mission is really just kind of, you're in your base waiting for the Hyperion to show up. There's nothing really to do. You've already done everything you possibly could. Focus down those Banelings as we have always done. Taking out those creep tumors because I don't like creep. I don't want their nasty purple stuff anywhere near my pretty blue buildings. After a certain amount of time, though, they will start to attack inside your base. They will start sending drop pods. They send one towards your mineral line like they did just now. They'll send some all over the place. In the final 2 minutes, when they just start sending their non-stop onslaught, you'll start to see, like, things just, you'll see Nidus worms just going everywhere. It's just hectic. But if you just focus and you keep a level head, don't panic, then you'll be perfectly fine. Like, you have more than enough Marines and medics to be able to handle the non-stop onslaught. And if you really if you are having difficulties in this part and you make it to this part, remember that Terran buildings can fly, take off and fly away. So if you wanted to, you could just scatter your buildings around the map and just kind of wait for the Hyperion to show up. But here we have like 200 people, over 100. Our army is over 100. We're using the high ground very, very effectively, so we're going to be perfectly fine until the Hyperion shows up, which is only less than a minute away. So the unfortunate part is attack command kind of makes it worse. You could technically just sit and hold position if you wanted to, but we want to get more more stuff going on. This, and you don't have to use the high ground if you don't want to. You could just like fight on the low ground. Like I just see the timer slowly going down. I have still over 100 people. Like it's just, you'll be fine. Like this mission is, this strategy should make it easier for you guys. Like if you want to add a little bit more difficulty, then feel free to add feel free to try to survive with your buildings. But that's 0 hour on brutal difficulty without any real struggle. It's a very, very simple, it's a straightforward mission that can be overthought, and you would just get a tiny bit of miscues. But as I said, I really do hope that this video helped out, and if it did, please leave a like down below, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want more of these guides. So yeah, we'll take a peek at our debriefing, and it looks like we did get those hatcheries, so I'll see you guys next time.